We are back. That was pretty cool.
That was really neat.
Dale and Mark coming up here, and
I was ready to do the birthday thing.
Yeah, enough of my birthday thing. That was something special. I mean, I'm glad that we could, Scripps giving money like it. That's what's cool. We like, if we can, to do stuff in the community, and this is a good one. And
I tell you,
I know it's close to your heart.
Well, you guys and Dale and I had been over here. Gosh, I guess it was Talk of the Town or something last year, kind of talking about leading in. It was just fantastic. Everybody, and that's something I think the community needs to know too, is most all of you guys weren't doing stories and volunteering. I mean, my point is the stories are good, but it's really neat to see people that do what you guys do out there volunteering too and helping and moving. So it was just, I don't know. Sounds kind of silly, but it warms your heart and to know that you're trying to help the community, but also that we're kind of all in it together trying to make it happen. So.
Yeah, that's right. And we do the stories to promote it.
Right.
Because who knows? There could be some family that could benefit that didn't see this and goes, oh, I still have time to get, because nothing breaks your heart like thinking about a kid that doesn't get a gift at the holidays.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And we needed to kind of calm the fears of moving it. Last Minute Toy Store had been in West Nashville at a church for years, and the move to the sheriff's office. Number one, we didn't want anyone to worry that meant anything else was going to happen if you showed up out here. That's not the case. And the other thing is location. It's not the easiest thing to find, and so you guys did a great job trying.
Well, the other thing is every once in a blue moon, not here but in other places, there have been robberies at buildings where they've stashed toys for some of these charities that do this. Right. You're an idiot if you rob the sheriff's department. All right, so those toys are safe there. All right, let's go to Brian. Brian, good morning.
Hey, real quick, I can see why they'd be, a little bit of trepidation about going out to pick up the toys at a sheriff's building, because you guys have seen on TV sometimes where they did things where they said, "You've won a free cruise," and they come in and that's wars and stuff. But it is totally different. Hey, and two final things. Number one, with the city growing the way it is, hopefully they're going to put the brakes on that, and we're going to slow down the growth. But you need stuff like this, because Nashville has always been, from the simplest in the early 2000s, late 90s, people walking up to people on the street and say, "Hey, you tourists, nice to have you here." It's always been a friendly city. And the last thing I was going to say is there any way that during the holiday seasons you can offer special bond outs for people, for families, or you can't, where you can make a special extra effort to try to make people aren't in jail for Christmas Day?
That's great. So, it's a kind of funny story. When I left college, I went to Western Kentucky and Bowling Green. I lived over in Western Kentucky and worked for what was called the Administrative Office of the Courts. I had 7 counties and I'd had to run around, so I'd live in hotels for that year. And I'll never forget, I was in Henderson, Kentucky, working for a while, and it was approaching Christmas, or the late December. And I'll never forget, in Kentucky, it's the only state in the country, they elect a jailer and elect a sheriff, and so the jailer is what you think.
Separate. Okay.
Right. So I'm in there working in the jail or whatever, and so the jailer at the time, I forgot his name, I can see him, but anyway, it's like December 22nd, and he had typed up something. He was walking back through the jail, probably 100 inmates, and he was reading it out loud. "You're going to be released tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Everybody, you're due back on the 2nd of January or whatever." And he was telling them all this, and so I was amazed. I was like, wow, what? So sure enough, this whole thing was going to happen, and I asked him, I said, well, what do you letting everybody go? Do we just let them go and come back? And he goes, "We know every one of them. We'll go find them." And so I guess as an annual deal, I wasn't there but one Christmas, but sure enough, he'd let them all go and let them, and he'd go pick them up. Now, I don't know how many returned. You couldn't do that in Nashville, but
no. But I'm thinking, when you say that jailer was elected, every single one of them he did that for, and all of their family and all of their friends are voting for him.
I
thought that's where you're going to go on that, because.
Well, and I never heard criticism. I mean, it was a funny thing.
As long as they came back, and I assume he wasn't letting any dangerous felons out.
I mean, I was, and he was reading that. But I do think for Brian to know, we effective April of this past year, not because of the holidays, but there's been some changes in a thing called bail reform, which is really the program that we're working on, and there are a lot more people being released pre-trial, awaiting their trial than ever before, based on some potential litigation and everything else. But the reality is there are some people who need to be locked up through the holidays for the risk and everything associated. But you need to be mindful of it. I do want to mention something that Dale and the folks at Last Minute Toy Store did that I really am proud of. We're going to try to grow that this year. Is they included the families of people who are incarcerated. Okay. And don't forget that the breadwinner may be in jail, and the child and mother don't have anything because he's in jail. And So what I was asking them to do is, could we find a way when we started to bring that family who is suffering because their dad may have done something wrong, most of the time it's the male, you know, and just not to make the kids and the mothers suffer as well. So they were fantastic. We also had inmates volunteering to help, you know, do a lot of work to set this whole thing up and just to try to include everybody. So it was just it was a great effort.
I think that's a great idea to do something like that. And, but there are also visitation sometimes, especially set up around the holidays for that. You do that. I think. It
is, and it's hard, you know, for kids especially, and trying to bring the families in. And of course, we do some things. I mean, it's just a tough time for people who are suffering because their loved one's incarcerated. And Last Minute Toy Store obviously is an ideal location for that, because that breadwinner may not be able to buy the gifts for the kids, especially. And mom's at home and she's struggling, so I thought that was a real good
and real quick, just with a minute left. So the collections during Christmas and July continue right now, correct? So if someone's watching and says, okay, I want to bring some gifts over, what's the best way to do that?
You can call the Sheriff's Office downtown, any of our locations, but downtown, the number 862-8170. We've got, as you would imagine, the old Toys for Tots types of boxes that we collected for years, and we'll take them anytime year-round. We just make July kind of a fun focus, and of course as we get a little closer, and you'll hear a whole lot more about it as we get closer to the December time frame. But anybody who's willing, we'd love to have your help and the support for a fantastic program. These guys do great work.
Okay, so I guess I don't think we have a break. So we have a few more minutes left on this. So let me take Bob. He wants to. Probably wants to wish me a happy birthday. Sure. Hey Bob, good morning.
Oh yeah, I wanted to wish you Nick a happy birthday. And I think we're lucky county to have Sheriff Hall here, and he's been a very good gentleman, and I wish you all the best.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Bob.
Thank you. Thank you. Bob follows the program, and you've been coming on this show now
10 years, 12 years.
Is it not that, really? 10 years or something like that?
I mean, 16, I think, most of the years.
Okay, so. And you know, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I have sheriffs in other areas, and because they're farther out, would love to do the same thing. Part of it is they can't schedule-wise all the time because it's much more of a drive. But I think it's great. You come on, you take calls, we can get the word out. I appreciate it. I hope you keep doing this.
No, I enjoy, and I always tell people the job that I'm in is often conflicted. People don't understand exactly what our role is. Sometimes they see us as patrol when we're not, or whatever. But also it's kind of a blocked out, you know, behind the walls operation for most people, and I don't want that. I'd prefer, you know, to come and talk about what the problems are, and we have problems. We will have problems today. It's just part of it, and I hope it's a way to inform people. But you have family members call a lot and ask questions that are really good questions that may not be easily understood. Why did I not get my medication, or what is the situation about food, or what if my daughter was arrested for this? And so if I can help explain that's good for all of us. But more importantly, it's a public position, and I think you should have to answer for the problems that you have. And we unfortunately in this world that we're in, it's challenging everything. Today I'll get back to the office, and you know, we got issues on the budget. The city's in financial trouble. If you'd ever told me we'd be the IT city, but we don't have money.
That's the thing, and that's where people have trouble getting a handle on all that. It's like, it's the IT city. You figure our tax base is as big as ever, and yet we're in financial straits on so many things. And
I think because of the controversy that went on with the mayor's office and all that, I think people got a little distracted because of what became that story. Obviously that's a news story. It's important. But there's also a story behind that as to me, and I don't know all the details about the decisions that were being made financially. I mean, I'm not talking about socially or at all. I don't care about that personal stuff at all. What matters to me is, why in the world am I being asked right now to cut my budget? Because the truth is, I'm talking about from last year's budget. Well, we need more money, not more people, but we need more money just to run the place. And I think Mayor Briley's doing a really good job. I've had a really good relationship with him so far. I mean, he's very upfront. He's been, I don't mean gives me what I want. He just is very upfront. He'll tell you. He's very, I was with him yesterday, and you know, we had a very direct conversation. But the point I'm making is, there were some decisions made prior to him that really make no sense as it relates to where we are. There's just no way to explain that we're building soccer stadiums. Well, what in the world? I mean, I don't know if I'm not pro or anti-soccer. Why don't the employees who were promised raises, and just for the record, I don't get that raise, it's not about me, why don't the employees who were promised raises have the money that they were promised if we're out promising to build things that we shouldn't be building? I mean, I don't care about soccer either way. I'm just saying our city doesn't have money.
Yeah, and employees aren't getting raises, and you see things having to be cut with education.
We have trouble recruiting people, and how do you recruit people if they're going, well, they're not even not only getting raises, but getting raises they were promised. So,
that's next show. Sheriff, we're right up against the end of it. Have a great day. We'll see you again soon.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Back tomorrow, everyone. Bye-bye.